And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We're here to speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, at Lighthouse with an L, lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. That's www.aaronkatzman, aaronkatzman.com. Be sure to follow me both on LinkedIn and Twitter. That's going to be the new platform, Twitter. And of course, subscribe. Please, I beg you, subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel where you get all of the content in one place. What could be better than that? So I'd like to speak to you today about Monopoly, right? Remember the game? It's Milton Bradley or Parker Brothers. One of those companies made Monopoly. Well, in our house, my little ones have really taken to the game. I have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and they love playing Monopoly. And in fact, we do a little barter over the weekend in the Katzman family home, where I will exchange sitting with my son and doing some studying together in exchange for a game of Monopoly. And we do that. And the fact of the matter is, he really doesn't care. He sits there and he's like, you know what it's like with a 12-year-old boy, right? You can't move around fast enough, right? The last thing you want to do on the weekend is study with your father. But he does it because at the end of the road is a great game, a competitive game of Monopoly. Well, a few weeks ago, to spice things up, my little 10-year-old daughter, who didn't really understand how to play, she started playing Monopoly as well. And it was quite comical. She loved when you landed on her property and she got to collect money. What she didn't really appreciate is when she landed on hotels. She didn't understand the concept that she actually has to give money to people. She liked to take the money, right? It's like the old Seinfeld thing with the car reservation, right? Anybody can take the reservation. It's holding the reservation. Anyway, so needless to say, she came in last place. But why is this important? Why am I talking about my family Monopoly escapades? I think the reason is because we can learn a lot of good money habits from Monopoly. I think money habit number one is all cash, right? If you don't have any money, you can't buy anything. In Monopoly, if you don't have the money and you land on a property, right, you can't buy it. You need to have cold hard cash in order to purchase a property. Now, there's nothing more antithetical to financial success than having lots of debt, right? Instead of plowing money into savings, lots and lots of money and energy are used keeping lots of balls in the air, right? Trying to make sure that you don't miss any interest payments and avoiding default and bankruptcy. I've worked with individuals, right, who literally spend 3 or 4 hours a day running around to get a loan from this one, to pay off a loan from that one. It makes you dizzy, right? And they're so good at it, it makes you wonder, scratch your head, right? If they actually got a real job, how successful they actually would be. But instead, they waste their time spinning their wheels, trying to like pay one debt off against the next, not really getting anywhere. And at the end of the day, it's like a black hole. You get sucked in. You hear that sucking sound, right? That's the black hole sucking you in, where you can't keep paying off the debt. You get farther and farther and farther into trouble, right? How do you get out of debt? I like sort of the Dave Ramsey method, where you list your debts smallest to largest. I know there are those out there who say, well, that's stupid. You should list the highest interest debt to the lowest interest debt. But in my experience, and I know Dave Ramsey speaks about this all the time, but I've been doing this for 20 some odd years as well. People need moral victories. You need to actually get one done, right? You pay off a little debt and you can say, well, voila, I can do this. Believe it or not, I can actually pay off these debts. And then you pay off the next smallest, and then all of a sudden you've got a lot more free cash flow that you can throw at the larger debts. I really like that idea. I know, again, like I said, there are people who out there know you got to pay the highest interest one off, but those people I found aren't so successful, right? They don't end up tackling the debt like they should because they never win. They just keep putting more money and more money and more money, and you don't get anywhere. And at the end of the day, if you don't get anywhere, then you're going to quit, right? You're not going to do it. The next lesson for Monopoly is start buying up properties and hotels and apartments, right? Once you no longer have debt, you got all this free cash flow, start investing. Invest in stock market, invest in the real estate market, whatever it is, right? The more you start investing, invest, again, with what you have, better if you can put it in cash and invest in a property. But if you have to take a mortgage, make something that's real, something that you can easily pay back. That's not gonna, you don't want to overbuy. Too often I see people literally overbuying. They get themselves into a huge mortgage, and if anything in their plan goes wrong, like they go out of work, they get out of work, right? They become unemployed, or maybe after a couple kids, the wife decides she wants to stay home and doesn't want to work anymore, right? Those are all wrenches that get thrown into the plan, which can completely screw it up financially, right? If you overbuy, or if you put it up, if you buy something right up to the maximum that you can afford, something doesn't work according to plan, you're up the creek, right? So put in a reasonable amount, take a reasonable mortgage if you have to. Obviously, it's better to pay all cash. The other thing I want to tell you, right? Focus on slow and steady to win the game, to build wealth, right? Don't try and make a fortune instantly. Those people generally don't succeed. You might read about the ones who do succeed or see a YouTube video about them, but the 99.9% of the people who fail miserably and go bankrupt, you don't hear about, okay? So don't try and become instantly rich, okay? Just the slow and steady approach is the way to make money. And finally, now is the time, right? I know people when they play Monopoly, I don't want to buy this property, I don't want to buy that property. You know what? Land on a property, especially at the beginning of the game, buy the sucker, okay? Buy the property. Don't wait. I've talked about so many times people who often, they delay investing. Why do they delay investing? They think, well, I don't have enough money to invest, right? I don't have enough money. Nobody's going to take my account to invest if I go to an advisor. People end up with, they get lots of their wedding money or what have you. They get gifts and they leave it in the bank, earning, how much do we earn now on a deposit in the bank? You see what that is? That's zero. That's a zero and then 0.01. They throw in that little bonus one. So you make a little tiny bit of money, right? Don't leave your money sitting around the bank. Get that money invested. Again, invest in a stock portfolio. Speak to a financial advisor. If you've got a little more, maybe buy a property. Whatever it is, you've got to start. Okay, so let's be thankful for that game of Monopoly. We can learn some really, really good financial lessons from it, i.e., no debt, buy in cash, start investing, and start investing now. Okay? You've been tuning into the Aaron Katzman Show. I, of course, am your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, AARON, at lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il. You can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. That's www.aaronkatzman.com. Be sure to follow me both on Twitter, yes, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and subscribe. Again, I beg you, please subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I'm sure we will speak soon.